are always at play. And I'm not saying anything about interracial love, marriage. I love it. But what I'm talking about is let's start being really honest, and let's not put, warm, fuzzy labels and call things love when it's not about dollars and cents, but it's just another form of currency, whether it's conventional beauty, whether it's youth, fertility, or any other sense, whether it's whiteness, right? Or it's a proximity to whiteness through women who maybe are not white themselves, but hold an identity that gets these black men closer to that entry point.
So I'm curious though, for people.
Hold up. Wasn't she engaged to a white man?
You could also be a, dare we say, bus driver, but the aspiration that we are now talking about as a culture, rightfully so, is yielding the skill set to an entrepreneurial model where we have ownership stakes, real equity in the business model that can produce wealth in a different way.
But I don't think that's the conversation that was happening.
Guys, all this woman care about is business. That's all she cares about is business. And when it comes to the topic of dating, Ebony K. Williams, she gets it wrong every time. Seriously, she gets it wrong every time. And she still hasn't figured it out yet. I see why she's so single.
The conversation that on your side, I think the conversation that was happening was, how dare you think that it was you're above?
Oh yeah. That is it.
So I'm saying like the greater like conversation that was happening is almost, and I was telling Jeanette, I'm like, it's almost as if the bus driver title became an identity, that you were rejecting a certain type of man, but also that how dare you as a black woman think you are above this certain type of man? Like, I think it was very layered and nuanced for why you were receiving such vitriol.
Yeah, I hated that bus drivers across the world in that moment. I know. What did the bus driver do? My poor MTA. He was like, "Yeah, what I do to you?" And I was like, "Stop."
No bus stops for you anymore.
No. I hated the indignation, honestly, and the dehumanizing that happened to all people that work in transportation around that moment. And that was a real thing for me, because as y'all saw the, kind of aftershock, if you will, I went on the Breakfast Club. I talked about how my mother, this beloved figure in my life who was totally aspirational and my first role model, did what? Drove the bus. My mother was a bus driver. So this is not about condemning bus drivers or not showing dignity to that work. All work has dignity. This was about, I actually think they became the straw man in Dr. Von Zant's example of, to your point, Mona, I thought really was a subtextual, I'm going to say dig, that says as black women, we don't have the right or privilege to be very particular about the types of men we look to partner with. I think there's a lot of historical and contemporary narrative that talks to black women about being not desirable, about being not appreciative enough, that talks to black women particularly about not having particular standards as it relates to really anything, but least of all economic socio-positioning, educational socio-positioning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so
basically what she's saying, guys, is how dare you expect black women to settle? Now, she could have just said that, but she had to go all the way around the world to make herself seem so intellectual, when she could have just said that one little sentence. But anyway.
If he owns the bus was very provoking and very triggering. It was because I'm saying in that statement that if he just drives the bus, it's not good enough for me.
Yeah. I have a couple of
but one could say the same thing about you, Ebony, because you're a successful woman, and that's fine. That's fine when you're making white people money. That's fine. But when you translate that into the dating market, into the dating world, that's not good enough. You have to do more.
Points and questions.
Yes.
The first thing I'm getting from you, it's almost like black women are being told, how dare you?
Absolutely.
Like you should be grateful for, right?
Sure.
But then my other question is, what is an example of this dynamic the other way around? In other words, because it implies men can demand this, have these standards, right? And they don't, it's not provoking, it's not controversial. Can you give an example?
Well, I think I'm gonna start with your second question because I think this is interesting, and I don't think it was properly flushed out the last.
Well, here's the thing. You can have your standards and you can have your preferences. And guys, let me tell you something. Don't knock these women for their preferences. They're allowed to have them. Anybody's allowed to have a preference. However, if a man meet these high standards that you women are always talking about, he has every right to say, what is he getting if he meets these high standards? He has every right to say that. And you see, these women don't like that because it puts more pressure on them because now they have to do more. They have to do something.
Last time I had this in a public domain on the Breakfast Club, I think that because of the way in which, because what we're talking about in all of this is romantic marketplace currency. Okay, so let's just level set.
Yeah.
She pretty much means the dating market, guys, or the sexual marketplace, whichever way you want to go with it.
Everybody's operating. We all played Monopoly as children, right? Everybody had their bank and their dollars and their little cards, and we're all going to the marketplace to exchange for the best outcome. And it just so happens that in this patriarchal, gender role society, men primarily, historically, and still today, are assessed and valued around their economic ability. That has been the case and is still the case. And what are women assessed by? Because it's certainly not our hearts.
Yeah, our physical features.
It is our aesthetic, our beauty, and our youth.
She pretty much quoting Kevin Samuels, y'all. And had women like this listen to Kevin Samuels, they wouldn't be single today. But no, they chose to thumb their nose at him. They chose to call him gay. And they chose to berate him and say he hated women, in which he didn't. That man, he was trying to help women. You see, women like Ebony K. Williams, it's the same song with all these women. You know what I'm saying? Ebony K. Williams, Tracy Ellis Ross, Lisa Ray, Claudia Jordan, Maya. It's the same song with these women. And they all have the same talking points. They're not going to change. They don't have to do nothing to appease a man, but they have no problem with putting all these high standards out that a man has to qualify for.
Name that. Let's name that piece. Because one of the main pushbacks that I got, in the wake of Bus Driver Gate, being a woman in my early 40s, is, well, especially how dare you old bitch, seriously, seriously. Because you definitely don't get no say because you've hit the wall. No. Anyway. But that was
She don't believe she hit the wall, y'all. She don't believe it. You've already proven that you hit the wall, Ebony. You had a baby by a sperm donor. And who typically donate sperm? Men who need money. So you were so desperate to get a baby, which is selfish, by the way, because you couldn't do it the right way and pair with a man that's on your level because you can't attract those types of men. You were so desperate and selfish, you had to resort to a sperm donor. So that means you really hit the wall.
retort. So let's just call a thing. Men, and I understand a lot of men feel a way about the fact that they are primarily on a romantic dating place. I'm not saying exclusively, I'm saying primarily assessed around what they can bring from an economic vantage point. But then they get to call it love. Because what's this thing I keep hearing? Men are in love, women are in business. They say women are in business because they're constantly assessing for the economics, as I just outlined and conceded and acknowledged. And it's not new, by the way. But
I get what she's saying, but she's saying it wrong. Because see, on an evolutionary level, women, they're programmed to make decisions based off what they need for their survival. They're not doing it for economics. They're doing it for their survival. They're looking for the best man that can provide for them and provide stability for them for their survival. So I get what she's saying. I get what she's going with it, but she's pretty much saying it wrong.
Men are in love, but that's really just semantics, because what you're calling love is beauty and youth and maybe even fertility.
And that's why I say, if an NFL player,
Who said men are in love? You know what I'm saying? Men want respect. We don't want love. I mean, love is fine, but above anything, we want respect.
a man of a lot of means, an athlete, what
Sure.
society sees as coveted, is with a woman who's not conventionally attractive, people are like, what's wrong? Something is misaligned.
And we hardly ever see it, if we're to be honest about it. And if we do see it, frankly, there's some other currency at play. If I could.
Well, yeah, it's because the woman has got him early on. You know, when you see a man or a rich man or an athlete with an average looking woman, she's pretty much got him early on. She was with him when he didn't have shit. So that's not out the norm.
Just go ahead and do what I do, which is rile the people up. Oftentimes when we see professional athletes, particularly black ones, with people that are not at the utmost standard of conventional beauty, they are what? White. They're white. And it's okay, because
that's a currency.
Because that's a currency, Mona.
So so relationships are an economy.
It's an economy. These are marketplaces.
So when a black man dates a white woman, it's supposed to be for a currency. So what does it say when a black woman does it? What does it say when a black woman dates a white man? You see, guys, black men, we're getting tired of all this hypocrisy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always some kind of wag your finger shaming tactic for black men when they date outside their race. But what do you call it when black women do it?
These are economic conditions that are always at play. And I'm not saying anything about interracial love, marriage. I love it. But what I'm talking about is, let's start being really honest, and let's not put, warm, fuzzy labels and call things love when it's not about dollars and cents, but it's just another form of currency, whether it's conventional beauty, whether it's youth, fertility, or any other sense, whether it's whiteness, right? Or it's proximity to whiteness through women who maybe are not white themselves, but hold an identity that gets these black men closer to that entry point.
So
wasn't she engaged to a white man? Oh my God, man. You guys, the hypocrisy is real with these women. And like I just said a minute ago, black men are tired of that shit, man. We're tired of the double standards, man. Seriously. All these double standards that these women have, it's always wag your fingers at black men. It's always calling it some kind of disparaging name when black men do what's happy for them. Anytime a black man tries to do anything that makes him happy, it always has to be shut down. And black men, we're getting tired of that shit, man. All these double standards. This is a woman, right? She said, like, we're talking about black men want close proximity to whiteness. You know what I'm saying? But she herself, she was dating a white man. She was engaged to a white man.
I'm curious though, for people who, back to the bus driver comment and all of that, who say, and even you're saying that relationships are an economy. Well, why contribute to something that's not right? Right? Like, why
Who said it's not right?
Who said? What if people believe that? Right?
Oh,
like,
they can believe
you're doubling down on something that's not right. You should be, you should go counter to that. Why go with what society deems as valuable? Like, what do you say to that?
Well, I believe in marketplaces. Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. I believe I wrote a whole book. My first book was called Pretty Powerful: Appearance, Substance, and Success.
I can't do it with this woman. Guys, all this woman care about is business and marketplaces and all this shit. And this is why she don't have a damn man. Seriously. Like I told you in the beginning of the video, this is a woman who gets it wrong every time. She don't have a romantic bone in her body. You know what I'm saying? Men, we don't want to hear all this old business talk with women. That's not what we want to hear with a woman. We want to see some feminine sexiness from a woman. And not saying that she can't do that, but she doesn't really show that. Every time you see this woman, she's hyper masculine. And she doesn't really seem like the type of woman that men tend to enjoy spending their time with. I'm talking about well-to-do men. But let me know what you think in the comments, y'all, man. This your boy MAZ, Maslow Speaks, man. Like and subscribe, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And don't forget to hype the video. I'm out.